What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are finishing this mock draft off with round 3 of 3. So if you guys are new, feel free to check out the other videos first. I think it's going to be a little bit more fun for you, but for you guys who have joined me on this journey, let's wrap this up. We'll do a really quick recap. So I don't know if you guys are even going to be able to pause and see it, but, might as well give you a quick little recap because it'll help me out too. But again, I'll let you guys read with your eyeballs. It's been a fun journey. Something I did not know about was that, Mazi Smith did declare, something that took me really off guard. But he has actually been in legal trouble, potentially on 12 months probation. So there is definitely a risk of him, slipping in the draft for that reason. But hey, guess what? The Bears are sitting here at 64. I don't really know a better option than to send him to the Bears. You got Isaiah McGuire and Zay Flowers and Peter Skoronski, so this is kind of the best spot for him to go. Why not take him here? I probably would have taken him earlier anyways. So Mazi Smith starting off the third round, it is a likely spot for him to go. Some people say it could be up into the first, but being caught with a weapon illegally, usually not looked at very highly by the NFL. Pick number 65 for the Texans. So obviously you started out with CJ Stroud, and that's the big one. It's the big kicker this draft. And we ended up going at the beginning of the second round with Drew Sanders, and then 99% sure this is probably going to be Quinn Johnston or Jordan Addison because, the Titans are a bunch of bastards. So now this spot, I think getting an edge rusher always on the board. Jared Verse, for the people who don't know, decided to return. So there's still some really good players here. I love Derek Hall's run stuffing ability. He's just one of those gritty players that you can totally trust. And just somebody who I think will be going around this range, a seasoned veteran for sure. And he's a leader on that Auburn front. So I'm going to be going after Derek Hall here at pick 65. We trade back with Arizona because Arizona made two big moves, even though they'll probably be moving back in the real draft because the value was there. You got Bijan, you got Jalen Carter, and now you also have John Michael Schmitz. So good for Arizona. But Buffalo, we've only had one pick so far, and it's Antonio Johnson. So that's a big thing to address as well because, having one of those safeties is pretty crucial in the defense that does rely heavily on them. But pick 66, I think something you could look at is linebacker. Linebacker class got terribly thin. There's some really good guys that are returning. And somebody who I do like, though, is going to be Noah Sewell at this range just because, again, the class itself got extremely thin. DeMarvion Overshown, but we are seeing Tremaine Edmonds potentially leaving to be able... Tremaine? I think it's Tremaine, yeah, because Terrell's on the Steelers. Because he is looking for that big bag, and I'm sure the Steelers are trying to recruit him pretty heavily because we have absolute jack shit at linebacker. So Noah Sewell definitely feels to be the right guy here. He is going to be 250 pounds, has flashed some incredible ability. He's just slipping because he's had some games where he's shown a lack of talent. Pick 67. So this was acquired from a trade with Indy. That trade, I am trying to remember why Indy has traded them this pick. But you guys can remind me down in the comment section below. We've definitely had the Sean Payton effect. We already traded for him. So with this pick in this round, I'm trying to remember what we got up here. Oh my God, we haven't even had a freaking pick yet. So the first pick that we've had in this draft, Graham Barton is somebody who I have a lot of faith in becoming a star tackle in the NFL with the right training. Hyper athlete, man. This guy is running as fast as the damn running backs. So really like him. We just studied him on the Discord. If you guys haven't already joined, feel free to do so. I like to do it every night that I have free time. So pick number 68. I want to be looking at an edge rusher here, somebody who has a little bit more size. Zach Harrison's a perfect replacement for what you just lost in Bradley Chubb. He's about 265 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, but he also has that breakaway speed. He runs. There's a clip of Edwards running away from the Ohio State defense. Edwards of Michigan. And Zach Harrison was with him stride for stride. It was pretty incredible. He did not lose ground until the end of the play. So got to give my tip of my cap there to Zach Harrison. Pick number 69. Nice. By the Rams. They have already addressed edge rusher. If I'm not mistaken, 99.9% sure. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who just committed today or yesterday. And I now want to address offensive line. Sean McVay decided to return. Hallelujah. So we all know third round offensive linemen are looked at pretty well. And Matt Bergeron has moved up my board tremendously. We watched him very recently. Very good player. I haven't moved him up on this board yet, but as of last night, he's moving up. Pick number 70 for the Raiders. Now, the first round, we ended up going Myles Murphy. So this past round, I'm just double checking on who we got in Garrett Williams. So this spot, I think that going a linebacker, if there is one available, man, this class is thin. This class is really thin. Maybe let's go defensive interior. I like Keandre Coburn. He's 343 pounds, high upside defensive interior. Somebody who I'm going to want to just add some meat to that interior front. Not fancy Siaki Ika. Keandre Coburn is kind of the version of Siaki Ika that I was hoping for. Pick number 71. I got a lot of people getting on my ass about going after Jahmyr Gibbs in the last round. And I'm not trying to slant Tyler Algier here, but we're also seeing many backs running by committee. And Tyler Algier, to me, is not an RB1. He's an amazing complement back who can put up a good amount of yards. But that being said, Tyreek Stevenson's still on the board. He slips in this one, even though I am an absolute fanboy of Tyreek Stevenson. It's probably the guy who I was debating on going with in round number 2. Pick number 72, via Carolina to the Panthers. We have the via Carolina to the Panthers, via Carolina to the Patriots. I think the right move here is, I think I went after a short DB because I definitely got some shit in the comment section for my pick in the last round with Clark Phillips. I love Clark Phillips. But edge rusher, probably going to be the right move. Just continuing to build that defensive line. And Byron Young is a super high upside edge rusher, someone who I like a lot myself. KJ Henry's a pretty fun one. You can go a plethora of routes. I'm actually going to go Darrell Shawmy. He's going to probably skyrocket after the combine, 6'4", 260 pounds, and he's pretty much Isaiah Foskey. That's what I love about it. And you're getting him pretty much for a quarter of the value here at pick number 72 compared to where a lot of people have him going. Pick number 73 for the Saints. I think Tanner McKee was that first pick in the second round, but we also traded Sean Payton away and got Andre Carter. So again, this team doesn't need very much in my opinion. It's a fairly stacked team. I could say a backup running back would never be a bad thing. Blake Corum decided to return. So I'm looking at Zach Charbonnet here to kind of be that Mark Ingram role. Someone who has a lot of power. I would love to see that there in New Orleans. Pick number 70. So Quentin Johnston joined the fray. And I think Cody Mock was the pick here, and it was. So Cody Mock, I've had some very big pushback by other teams other fans of other teams that have wanted Cody Mock. But, there's only so many players that can go around. Steve Avila is on the board. I'm probably going to draft him. He has center guard versatility, and this is a very razor thin class at that interior position. Somebody who I'm definitely going to want to prioritize being able to get in a team that kind of desperately needs O-line help. Pick number 75. Another team that could have honestly used an offensive tackle. I don't think there's any more even remotely on the board. Javon Foster, 90% sure that he's going to return. He told at least Nagy's camp that he's going to return. So Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl, that is. So now we've addressed edge rusher. That's cool. We've addressed wide receiver, linebacker, quarterback. There's not many other positions to address on this team, just to be frank. I think now it's just kind of going down to BPA, and I want to see who the best guys are on the board. And it's probably more edge rushers. It's just going to be one of those classes. And I could totally see Rashee Rice being a pick here. He's at SMU. Could have been a pick there at number 73 there for the Saints. But, getting an X-build wide receiver, I believe 6'2", 210 pounds, never a bad thing. Now you have two high-level wide receivers there, not to mention Brandon Cooks, not to mention Nico Collins, just adding more and more to the fire. Pick number 76. So, yeah, the Jets, another team that just does not need much. They don't. They really don't. What have we done for them in this draft so far? Jalen Skinner to be that safety linebacker hybrid. I'm a huge fan of that, and probably offensive tackle. Knowing me, Anton Harrison. Beautiful. Love it. I would honestly try to go after Darnell Wright the more I see him like in the mix, but I'm never going to complain about that. The linebacker is available though. You can get another safety linebacker hybrid pretty much into Marvion Overshone. Never a bad idea. And honestly, something that I would be willing to explore because again, this team doesn't need much. Edge rusher, I don't think that's a position to look after. Defensive interior, you can get some depth, but this isn't the class to do it in. You could just say, I'm going to take a shot on Gervin Dexter and say, hey, we're going to take a chance on him actually being really good. And honestly, this is the range to do so. Speaking of, I think this team drafted a Florida edge rusher. I'm forgetting his name, but they drafted him in the 3rd round. He was supposed to be like one of those late first, early second guys. They're going to take another shot on a Florida guy who's been falling here at 76. Pick 77, I think linebacker needs to be the focus here, and I think DeMarvion Overshone could be a nice, very athletic, mobile linebacker there in Miami. Pick number 78. So I want to see what I did for the Packers. I want to double check. I know I went safety in the 1st round, and I went Lucas Van Ness in this. So I think, man, offensive line, I really wish this class had a lot better dudes. I really do. We're going to see some guys get over-drafted. I'll tell you that. Like, the majority of these guys have honestly returned to. It is possibly the worst group I have ever seen. But you could still look, you could look at a DB here. You could get someone like Chris Abrams. Well, Chris Abrams returning too. THT decided to come out. You could try to bring him in and add him as another rotational safety in case you don't want to bring back either. And that's probably the best thing you can do with the guys who are left on the board. Kind of embarrassing. This class it's not a very deep class, and that's what sucks. But tight end, honestly, Tucker Kraft would be a very nice option. He's the on-sale version of, why am I tripping up on names today? He's probably the on-sale version, where is he? Luke Musgrave. There we go. To be honest, do you imagine someone like me remembering Luke Musgrave off the top of my head? No, but that's okay. Pick number 79, we've gone Osiris Torrance. We made some major trade backs. Osiris Torrance as well as Will Levis. That's a good start. Those are 2 of the primary positions I'd want to target. Now, I might want to get some depth at running back because this class is just so good. But at the same time, I want to look at the receivers who are left on the board. Romo Dunze decided to return today, so obviously he's not going to be factored into this. But I'm looking at someone like Xavier Hutchinson having even more solid hands on the outside. But I kind of want a burner. That's tough. That's tough because I want someone to be a deep threat. I don't really see many people or many receivers at this range having that ability. Rock Jarrett, probably the guy who I trust the most. But someone who I think will be running in the 4-4s is going to be actually not even listed here, but he is another Florida wide receiver. That is going to be, where is he on my board? Number 32, 29, Justin Shorter. So Ricky Pearsall is going to be the replacement because they just don't have him in the system. But, Justin Shorter already declared, 6'4", 225 pounds. He's probably going to run a 4.4. He's going to be my draft crush for this. Honestly, I would have loved to have taken him here for the Steelers, but doesn't matter. Steelers, we went after Christian Gonzalez, which I know, not really a culture fit. DeJuan Jones, like developmental tackle, and Andrew Voorhees. One of these guys, we have 2 day 1 guys and 1 guy who's developmental for the long run. I think that's perfectly fine. I'd be perfectly happy with it. But defensive interior guys, I would like to take maybe a shot on Kobe Turner here to add him to that front. Damn, this class got really bad really quickly. I want to see someone who could actually stuff the middle. I'm not going to take Siaki Ika. I swear to God, I'm not going to do it. You will have to make me want to just absolutely disappear before I take Siaki Ika. But Parker Washington seems to be a nasty receiver who has some crazy ability about him. He built like a running back and someone who I think could just have that grit of a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let me know what you guys think about that one. But pick number 81 for the Lions. Now we're just getting into the territory where a lot of these teams have a lot of depth at many positions. So, again, all these players have already decided to return. Like the best players are saying they're going back to school. Doesn't make sense. It's a weird year. I want to check. I have a feeling, did I go running back? I went Nolan Smith and then Devon A-Chain. I've already gone running back for you guys. It would have been an easy cop-out at this point to go after one. Tight end wise, Josh Wiley is here. I think it's a wise move at this point. Somebody who I think is the most underrated player in the draft that isn't talked about literally by anybody. But really good player. I've seen him in person and seen him cut up even teams like Georgia multiple years ago. Pick number 82. So this is probably going to be Hendon Hooker if we have not already drafted a QB, and we have not. So Hendon Hooker, it is. Yeah, he's going to be locking it in there. Just a solid, consistent QB there for, once he's healthy. Doesn't really matter about the age. Pick number 83. So, man, this class, it hurts. It hurts doing this video just because I already know I'm running out of guys who I'm genuinely passionate about. But that's okay. I'm not going to front you guys and tell you how awesome a draft class is if I don't believe it. And I think that's fair. I think THT is the best value here. Someone who won the best DB in the country. Someone who I think deserves that representation. Jaguars. Let's see. I know that I went Paris Johnson in round 1. Now this round, Luke Musgrave. So we've already gone the tight end route. Awesome, because I've kind of depleted all of the damn tight ends. So I'd want to potentially look at even more offensive line, but again, no depth. This is a good spot for a pass rushing interior like Elijah Cansey, who's an absolute stat patter. Someone who just gets pressure after pressure after pressure. High upside, but very, very low floor at 280 pounds. I'd love to see him work his way in with the talent that they have on this defensive front. Pick number 85 for the Dolphins. I want to look at a right tackle here, but again, I keep going back and I see absolutely nothing. And it breaks my heart. It does. That hurts. But a running back is feasible. Sean Tucker is a very good running back. You got Roschon Johnson here, Chase Brown. But I love the idea of Deuce Vaughn being the young, explosive beast that he is at 5'6", 176 pounds. It's just a monster. I love Deuce Vaughn. He's rated as my RB1 in the class. So take it as you will. But I still have Bijan above him for obvious reasons. Pick number 86. So New York. We got a receiver for you guys, didn't we? If we didn't, I already know what I'm doing. We got Jalen Hyatt. Don't think that's going to stop me from going a receiver for you guys, though. Because I know we went Jalen Jones in the first. And you got guys like Trey Palmer here who are super consistent. But I want Xavier Hutchinson. I want to get those strong hands there at 6'3", 200 pounds. Pick number 87. I think we already went JSN for Baltimore as well. Because I love going Jackson Smith and Jigba. And we do. So Jack Smith and Jigba already taken. Second round pick, non-existent. So now you could look at another running back here. You do have Sean Tucker on the board. Somebody who can continue keeping that cheap contract on those running backs. And probably the smart thing to do, keep it up with Roman's system. Linebacker, you just paid. So I don't think you're going to be going after anybody else after paying Roquan. Edge rusher, you still have so many dudes in development. Defensive interior, same thing. Corner, I just don't see many people who are really that worth it. I've seen some good reps, though, from Caillou Blue Kelly, and I think this is a good range to just take a swing on him. Pick number 88 for the Chargers. Defensive interior is probably the way I'm going to go. I have a weird gut feeling that I took someone who's extremely... Yep, Carl Brooks. Knew it. So we've taken Carl Brooks. We went Michael Mayer in the first round as well. So we have already gone after a receiver in general. But Trey Palmer is a guy, I love his consistency down to down. Doesn't seem to be a personality concern at all. And he's made a business decision to go to Nebraska to follow his coach because I think he knew that was best for him. So I love someone who invests in themselves and takes a risk going to a lower end school like Nebraska rather than trying to make himself look better with the brand name. Pick number 89 for the Cowboys. I still want to go offensive line, even though I'm 99% sure I did with Luke Whippler. Here's the issue. Still not available. Every time. So running back, probably going to be the way I go. I love the idea of Sean Tucker as a home run hitting running back. Going to be the way I go. Pick number 90 for the Bengals. So we had multiple Bengals picks in the last round too. We did. We had Sam Laporta and we traded back and got Blake Freeland. I honestly love that. That's arguably the best case scenario for this squad. So a DB, maybe like DJ Turner as a developmental guy, Riley Moss, who's going to be extremely athletic, wouldn't be too awful. But this is another team that's looking potentially sneakily for a running back. And I mean, I love the idea of Chase Brown being an RBBC back in this squad, someone who's just been able to light it up there up in the Midwest. Pick number 91, another team potentially looking for a running back. And this is another spot where I think I'm going to pull the trigger on one. You have guys like Kenny McIntosh in here, Eric Gray, these guys who are actually like pretty explosive, but I'm going to go after Tank Bigsby out of respect for him. I need to go back and rewatch the tape because last year in 2021, he was not good. Just to be blunt, he was not good. So we have running back to back there. Pick number 92. This, again, could be a DB pick, but for Carolina, I want to see what I have done for them in this draft. Ooh, we traded up. I remember that. So we traded up with them, and so we had the late second round pick, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to find out where that is. So I got Isaiah Foskey, Bryce Young. Now, the right thing to do is to see if we can get a linebacker of good enough value here. I like Michael Jones. Pretty sure that he is coming out. Dorian Williams, I'm 99% sure, is coming out as well. I think Mikel Jones is going to be the right dude here. Dion Henley's a fun option, and he is a good player, but I've seen Mikel Jones work week after week on his game, so I do like that ability. Pick number 93. So, again, earlier in this round, we ended up going, where is he at? Noah Sewell. So, no need to look at that linebacker room. We already have Antonio Johnson. We're chilling. Now it's just kind of BPA / whatever the hell we want. And looking at the guys available, I mean, I'm at the point where Siaki Ika isn't out of the equation. And y'all know how much I don't like Siaki Ika. That's just at the class that we're at. But I'm going to get a second safety here in Brandon Joseph. That's my favorite fit for him. So definitely getting a guy of high upside there. Cowboys with that trade from the Chiefs where they moved back. You already got Eli Ricks. You have Sean Tucker. Now you have also an offensive lineman in Luke Whippler. Looking maybe at some extra edge depth because there potentially is an actual rest going to be going on for Sam Williams. And that's not really actually that funny. But, I mean, the guys who I would think would be good are Tuli Tuipulotu, someone who, like, he has some really good hand technique. Byron Young is super athletic, but he doesn't really fit the size profile. Neither does Will McDonald, for all that's true. KJ Henry doesn't either. I'm going to go with Tuli. You could go Colby Wood in here, but we're just going to get a guy right there. And finishing off the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's double check what we did. We got Will Anderson, so no need to go edge, and Emmanuel Forbes. That's a pretty good place to start. I'm going to look one more time. One more time. We're going to see if there's an offensive tackle. I don't see it. I don't. Is there a guard that could be an offensive tackle? I don't see it. You could look at Jackson Kirkland, but there's no way in hell I'm going to take a 6-year senior there. So I'm going to look at a running back here. Zach Evans, I don't even know if he's coming out. You honestly shouldn't. But you guys look at guys like Kenny McIntosh, Tyjae Spears. I really want to study some Tyjae Spears. That guy's fun. And honestly, let's end it off on Tyjae Spears. He absolutely annihilated in his bowl game versus USC. So that's going to be a video, guys. I'm going to scroll down so you guys get to see the final picks just so you guys can have a quick recap there. But thank you guys so much for supporting me. As always, see you on the far side. Peace.